making a face. There was always the smash and grab, she supposed. Go in as hard and fast as she could, then skedaddle in the opposite direction. It wasn't the most elegant plan, but of the options she'd come up with, it was the most likely to succeed. My turn? Illith, the incredibly lifelike dragon tattoo on Tate's forearm, crawled up her bicep until she reached Tate's shoulder, where she stopped. More and more over the last few weeks, Tate had noticed Illith's presence was beginning to carry a tangible weight, even when she was in the form of a tattoo. Right now, it felt like a small cat perched on Tate's shoulder. She'd hoped it meant Illith was close to manifesting, an ability only one dragon-ridden had mastered so far. In their present circumstances, Illith being able to manifest her physical form separate from Tate would have been a godsend. All Tate would have needed to do then was send her forward to steal the treasure. Illith could have secured it and flown off before either dragon-ridden could react. Unfortunately, such ideas were nothing more than an ephemeral dream. As far as she could tell, Illith was no closer to manifesting than she had been all those weeks ago when Ryu demonstrated the theory behind how it worked. It left Tate no choice but to get her own hands dirty. Almost, Tate thought at Illith. The dragon set her chin on her paws and flicked her tail in disappointment. Want the shiny? Of that, Tate had no doubt. The shiny, as Illith called it, had been all Illith could talk about since the moment she saw it. Tate chose to ignore the sulky dragon, concentrating on those below. She needed to wait for the exact right moment to make her move. Dragons weren't the patient sort. They were creatures of the moment, fueled by passion and their own convoluted thinking. Tate wasn't much of a planner herself, but even she was able to foresee what a bad idea some of Illith's impulses were. It was her fate to act as the balance to Illith's impulsive nature. Sometimes she was more successful than others. As it was, Illith's impatience beat at her, sparking a concern that if Tate waited much longer, Illith would take matters into her own paws. Any plans Tate had wouldn't make a difference then. Movement below distracted Tate from Illith's brewing frustration as the scruffier of the two dragons found a spot in the garden to lay down. Fair-haired and sporting a beard, the man was the easier-going of the two. He threaded his hands behind his head and tilted his face toward the sun with a small smile. This was it, the opening Tate had been waiting for. She stopped resisting Illith, dropping the barriers she constantly kept in place between the two of them. The barriers were a necessary precaution to preserve both their minds. Without them, Illith and Tate would blend together, making it impossible to know where one ended and the other began. That way lay madness. Illith surged to the forefront as energy built within Tate. Her skin prickled as a sensation that was both pain and pleasure took over. Before she could do more than initiate the change, a small fuzzy creature shot out from one of the hedges. It dashed across the gravel, snagging the bag of gems off the table and sprinting down another hedge-lined path. The shock of the unexpected theft jarred Tate out of the change. She stared open-mouthed after the creature. That little jerk! As if the theft was a signal, children darted out from their hiding places in the hedges, fleeing in the wake of the thief. "My shinies!" Illith wailed. Tate cursed, standing from her hiding spot and racing along the roof edge. One of the thief's cohorts spotted Tate.